Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach back here with another reaction video. Trey Hendrickson ends Bengals holding what it means for his future in Cincinnati. Um, I just woke up probably like 20 minutes ago, opened up my YouTube, and here we have it. Trey Hendrickson has officially ended his holding. This is great news. Glad Trey Hendrickson, is going to be with us this season. But yeah, let's get right into it. Make sure y'all hit that sub button and turn on them notifications and follow the socials on the screen. It's much appreciated.
Jonathan Jones reporting that he's going to get a $14 million raise for one season, go from $16 million to right around $30 million this season. Hendrickson had been holding.
So he gets a raise.
Because after leading the NFL in sacks last season, he wanted to be one of the highest paid ends.
But let's go, bro. Finally, the front office gets something done, bro.
Maybe even not the guaranteed money, but he does get a significant raise for this upcoming season. We want to welcome in former GM Ran Carthon along with our lead NFL insider.
The Trigger Trey is back.
What more can you tell us about this interesting one-year deal that really has just been restructured?
So it's only okay. I know people are going to be mad that it's only a one-year deal, but bro, at least we have Trey Hendrickson for this upcoming NFL season, bro. I mean, it could be worse, but yeah, obviously, the 1 year thing, it kind of sucks because I wanted Trey Hendrickson long term, but you never know. Maybe in the, after this season, in the offseason, maybe they'll want to actually, extend him further, but we'll have to see on that. But yeah, I'm just glad Trey, big play Trey, is going to be a Bengal this season. Let's get it.
Yeah, the Bengals didn't budge. They gave Trey Hendrickson a raise, but they're not guaranteeing any money beyond 2025. Trey Hendrickson, who has been an All-Pro, a Pro Bowler, a fantastic.
And the thing is, if he shows out like he did last season, bro, then the Bengals be like, okay, yeah, we gotta give you that,
for
that 3 or 4 year extension. You know what I mean?
In the locker room, and so getting him a raise.
Because that's just what the Bengals have done. Like, they don't like to pay guys over 30, bro. Like, a lot of money, which, it's understandable. But, bro, you got to pay Trey Hendrickson that money. But, like I said, at least he will be a full go this season for us.
Cincinnati Bengals this entire offseason. Trey Hendrickson and his representation wanted long-term security. They wanted multi-year deal, but they also, within that deal, they didn't just want the average annual value that we would plaster up on a graphic. They wanted money that was guaranteed beyond this season. That is something the Cincinnati Bengals historically don't do, but for a couple of players. Of course, they did it with Joe Burrow, just did it with Jamar Chase. But
that's Joe Burrow and Jamar, though.
Trying to break through. That was really what has been.
And Trey, he's almost, I think almost is 30. Wait, how old is Trey, actually? Let me look real quick. Because I really don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, I could see why they gave it to Jamar and Joe Burrow. I mean, they're not really, they're pretty young still, so it kind of makes sense. To give me a minute, y'all. Dude, it's not popping up. Like, I seriously don't know. I'm just going to pause
really
it.
Going back even to last year, if we're talking about how he had the trade.
But it's because he's almost 30, and they don't like giving that money, like all that money to, like, guys over 30.
Bengals, they want him, and so the Bengals do not budge on how they go about their contracts, and they keep Trey Hendrickson with this raise.
Ran as a front office guy, a former EVP, former GM. What do you make of this deal that will keep him there for this season, but for the future, we don't know?
Yeah, it's what JJ said. It just secures, get your guy in the building, your team captain on defense. It gets him in the building for this year, and you can kind of bring everything along. We've talked about it before here that they have a new defensive coordinator in Al Golden, so you need guys, you need purveyors of the message to be in there, and Trey Hendrickson is definitely that. But again, this is just the Cincinnati Bengals doing Cincinnati Bengal things and just getting their guy done for this year. And like JJ said, there is no long-term future as of now for Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals.
That sucks.
So projecting forward, JJ, when do you?
So hopefully, Trey, I hope he goes insane this year, bro, like he did last year, bro. So the Bengals, like, they should have already gave him, like, that long-term extension, but, like, maybe they want to see it again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think this is probably what it ultimately is going to be. Is it out of the question? Rand can speak better to this than I certainly can. Is it out of the question that they could come back in October and say, hey, this is going really well, and we're going to forget our typical precedent.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and lock you up beyond that? Maybe, but it seems very unlikely, right? This seems like they may be in a very similar position ahead of the start of free agency when we get to March of 2026. We'll see if they're able to still tag Trey Hendrickson if they want to.
Yeah,
Not sure
they got to keep Trey,
they
bro.
would ultimately wish to do, even if they have.
They did get him done for this season, but
this new,
I want him long term, though.
Restructured contract. And so, as it stands right now, it certainly seems that Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals will be.
No, he is. Okay, so Trey is 30 years old already.
But of course,
okay.
When you're looking at that
I thought he was, like,
looking at how that
almost 30, or he was 30. I wasn't sure.
Forward with what this Bengals team is hoping to.
So we'll see what he does this year. Maybe the Bengals, want to see it again.
All they care about is 2025.
And Chris, I'll just throw this in there because it's something that we hadn't hit on. No matter how you see it, I'm joking, speaking tongue-in-cheek, saying Cincinnati doing Cincinnati things, but they have the leverage because they have 2 years of franchise tags if they so choose to, like JJ said. So getting an extension done, it could still be on the table, but they very much have, everything working in their favor right now, that if they can't get anything done and they want to franchise tag him, they may very well do that come next March.
Things like this, and you mentioned Bengals doing Bengals things, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but as someone who's been in other front offices, do teams use that against
I know, probably a lot of Bengals fans are upset because it's only a 1 year, raise, but at least he's a Bengal for this, upcoming season, which we really need Trey, he's our leader on defense. We need him, and we got him this season, so,
trying to land, say,
hopefully they can get something done, after this season.
Well, it's definitely working in your favor. I don't think, I would give myself a hating fine if I was hating on another club and how they do business. The best way for me, I would say, is just to show up and do good business. And that's when I was in the front office of every club that I was ever with. I always wanted to be known and be in a place that we're known for doing good business. And I think that trumps everything, just being able for teams, not teams, but players and agents to know that when they were dealing with our club, that they know we were going to do good business and have a resolution that would be favorable for all parties.
And Rand absolutely hit on it with Cincinnati Bengals, with their reputation. I think that we just heard from Boomer Esiason earlier this week, right? The Cincinnati Bengal great who's in the Ring of Honor with the Bengals.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that shit. That shit was dumb, bro.
And hotel at a discounted rate at a local hotel if he wants to go to the next Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it just shows you how pathetic the Bengals are, really.
Have a reputation for a reason. And yes, this is a multi-billion-dollar franchise that if Mike Brown and his family wind up selling the team, would make $5 billion easily. No question about it. That doesn't mean they have $5 billion lying around. And while the smallest violin in the world plays for someone who has an asset worth $5+ billion but doesn't have that money to spend, the point is that they do not generate the sort of cash that most other NFL teams do. Then you add in the fact that they have an antiquated way and system of going about business. You put those two things together, and yes, it does hurt you in going out in free agency. Whether other teams, to answer your question, Chris, whether other teams have to use that against the Bengals or whether players and their representation, when they know, well, goodness, that team is not even going to guarantee half of my contract for the second year, but this other team will guarantee my third year, I'm going to the other team. You don't have to use it against them. We all know.
Well, Chris, I'll throw this in real quick. Sorry. Always remember, it's cash versus cap, right? The cap is just the ceiling, and how much you can actually spend. Those numbers, as we've seen, can be manipulated. Every year we go into the season, the Saints are $90 million over the cap, but somehow they get all these contracts done and restructured. But the cash is the important part. How much cash are these clubs paying out in that given year? And regardless of what the cap is, if the owner sets you with a hard cash budget, you have to come within that. And so, like JJ said, if we're dealing with a team or an organization that does not have cash on hand, then regardless of whether they should get a deal done with said player or not, if they don't have the cash to get it done, it's going to always present a problem.
We always like to make things a little bit more palatable for people that might not want to dive into all the numbers like I know you have to do in the front office, and JJ you have to do as somebody that covers this game as an insider. So we simplify things with an AAV, an average annual value, and for this year, Trey Hendrickson now is going to make $30 million. And that puts him here, not in the top 5.
So yeah, based on salary raise for this season, Hendrickson is going to make $30 million. So he's up there with Nick Bosa, Crosby, Hunter. That's what he wants, you know.
JJ, someone noticeable.
Well, hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can, you know, get a long-term extension done this, you know, off-season coming up after the season.
If anything, for Micah Parsons and the Cowboys.
I'm just glad we got Trey, you know, under contract for this season.
Nick Bosa, for example, above Trey Hendrickson there. Nick Bosa also has $88 million in full guarantees. Trey Hendrickson has $30 million in full guarantees. If we were to extend this graphic and look at a Josh Hines Allen with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who would be under Trey Hendrickson, he has $75+ million in guarantees, right? So what do you want to do? Do you want to get the average annual value, or do you want to, when you put pen to paper, how much money is coming to me so long as I do my job? So that's an excellent point that you make there. What's next for Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys? This does not impact Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. Whatever the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have had going on for however long has never impacted, played into Micah Parsons. And
yeah, Micah's the only one that needs to get done now.
Money mattered. TJ Watt's money mattered. Jamar Chase's money mattered, right? When you start talking about who is the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, that's where Micah Parsons is slotting in at. And I don't think that this particular contract doesn't impact it. But even if it did, after what we have heard the last couple of weeks, do we think that Jerry Jones would be moved by it? Jerry Jones is not moved by any of this, right? And so it will be fascinating to ultimately watch this play out, because Micah Parsons at this point, with the level of disrespect that he feels that he has absorbed, when you consider the trade request that's already out there.
Yeah, Micah definitely will break the bank.
$43 million.
He'll be up there.
We'll see how this plays out. The Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones get to decide. But until they negotiate or engage in negotiations with Micah Parsons' representation, no deal will get done. And I very much believe, even though Dak Prescott and some other Dallas Cowboys players said earlier today they expect and believe Micah Parsons will be on the field week 1, it is far short of a fait accompli that he in fact will be playing for the Dallas Cowboys on week 1.
Yeah, it's a week from Thursday. It's 10 days. It's coming. Ren, what do you think of Micah Parsons and the possibility that he is not playing come week 1?
Well, I mean, we saw the graphic, right? And we talked about highest paid non-quarterbacks. And like JJ said, if that first number doesn't start with a 4, it doesn't factor into anything that's pertaining to the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons. Listen, from what I feel, what I think, what I have an inkling of, I think Micah Parsons' heels are dug in. And the fact that the Cowboys and Jerry Jones in particular are doing the type of media that they're doing and speaking on the level of detail in terms of these negotiations, I think it only hurts their opportunity. Now, I also live by the creed that everybody has a price. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, there's a number that Micah Parsons will forgive all and be ready to go come week 1. But I think that, and this is why I always say these deals are best done in private, because they're contentious as is. You know, from a front office perspective, we're going to do something to piss you off. You're going to do something to piss us off in the art of negotiating. But if they're done so privately,
I mean, it's not easy to get, you know, deals like this done. Like,
but this
they take time, bro. Like,
and so many people have opinions.
You know, Jamar Chase's even, it took a while to get his done.
The Cowboys are allowing this to happen. So I think Micah's heels are dug in, and we'll see where this thing ultimately lands.
Yeah, but I think he'll get done,
Some
though.
news out of Vegas today as well. Jacoby Myers, who's been their #1 receiver over the last 2 years, when you combine them both, requests a trade.
Amari Cooper agrees to a one-year deal with the Raiders, so Coop back with the Raiders? That's fire.
Amari Cooper to a one-year deal. What more can you tell us about that, and what's going on with the Raiders wide receiver situation?
Yeah, that's right. So Amari Cooper heading back to the Raiders, almost said heading back to Las Vegas. You know, it's been a while since he was a Raider, right? He was a Raider back when they were in Oakland. And so he returns to the franchise, right, the organization. We can just keep it there. But Amari Cooper, I think going into his age 31 season last year was a struggle for him, right? He played with the Cleveland Browns to start the season. Right before the trade deadline, they deal him to Buffalo. Took a really long time for him to kind of get going, battled some injury there. And so I want to be clear, I do not at all believe that the Amari Cooper acquisition really relates to Jakobi Meyers' trade request. In fact, I believe that the Las Vegas Raiders very much want to keep Jakobi Meyers and that
Jakobi Meyers requested a trade?
Reach some sort of contract agreement and arrangement at some point. But this, when you looked at the wide receiver depth chart, it was not very strong for the Raiders, right? We all know about Brock Bowers. We all know that they have Ashton Genty. So we have guys there.
Yeah, the receiving room is kind of weak.
But you still need
outside of Bowers.
The wide receivers. And so
Trey Tucker's kind of sneaky
Amari
good. They got
Cooper,
Thornton that they drafted, but I mean, adding Coop, I guess, is not bad. I don't know how good he'll be
able to contribute, but it was a weak position to begin with, and so now signing him and getting him in the fold there in Vegas.
All right, really busy times in the NFL with the 53-man roster cut down coming up tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time, the deadline. The Raiders moving to get Amari Cooper back in that silver.
But that's going to do it for Trey Hendrickson. Ends his Bengals hold-in. He's officially going to be a Bengal this season. You know, really excited for this upcoming season now that we got Trey Hendrickson done, you know. It took a long time for us to get him done, but at least it got done. Only a one-year, you know, one-year thing, though. But, you know, like I said, hopefully they can get something done after the season long-term, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But, you know, we're on pace, you know, to go to the Super Bowl, hopefully. You know, everyone stay healthy. And this, you know, defensive unit is middle of the pack we need it to be, and I think it will be. And, yeah, it's big who day. Make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. It's much appreciated. I love y'all, and I'm out. But that's going to do it for this reaction, though. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, and I'm out. Peace.